the countries of the organization participating in the African-European Conference on Migration held in Benghazi, Libya, between May 25th and 27, 2024, under the auspices of the Libyan government chaired by Dr. Osama Ahmad and in coordination with the Libyan House of Representatives, and jointly organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation and the Ministry of State for Migration Affairs. This important conference witnessed a large attendance of African, European, and Libyan personalities, led by His Excellencies the President of the African Parliament, Fortun Charumbira, and His Excellency the Prime Minister of the Libyan government, Dr. Osama Ahmad, along with participating members of parliaments, government officials, experts, representatives of civil society organizations and the private sector from 100 African and European countries, in addition to African migrants living abroad. Following extensive discussion, during which various international conventions pertaining to human rights in general and migration in particular were invoked, including notably the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and relevant protocols. Drawing on the Constitutive Act of African Union, the African Declaration of People's Rights, and the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration adopted in Marrakesh, Morocco, 2018, in addition to the African Migration Agenda, the Valletta Summit Declaration between Europe and Africa held in Malta 2015, as well as the New York Declaration for Refugees and Migrants and Sustainable Development Agenda 2023, the African Union Agenda 2063, and the Benghazi Declaration issued by the African Migration Conference hosted by the city of Benghazi on January 29-30, 2024. We appreciate the efforts of the Libyan government, the Libyan parliament, the General Command of the Libyan Arab Armed Forces, and all security agencies in protecting and providing care for migrants through the establishment of shelter centers in accordance with humanitarian standards and international conventions. We also emphasize the importance of a comprehensive approach to regular migration based on studying the roots causes of migrations, which revolve around the tree of comprehensive development, employment, and stability, rather than relying on traditional solutions based on security approaches that have proven ineffective. A comprehensive approach to the solution is capable alone of convincing many citizens of African countries to stay in their countries and encouraging many of them to return to their countries of origin. This necessity that as countries of origin, transit destination, will strengthen our strategic partnership on political, economic, and security levels, unify our position to address the issue of irregular immigration with objectives, sincere ambitions, and long-term plans and strategies. Avoid approaches based on narrow geopolitical visions, parallel initiatives, and conditional aid, because solving these issues surpass the unilateral capacity of states and requires consolidating and mobilizing resources. This entails the necessity and importance of concerted efforts at the level of the African and European continents, based on the principles of neighborhood partnership, mutual values, interest, and respect, and abandoning procrastinations and delay that will deepen the crisis and widen the scope of damage to everyone, especially in these exceptional circumstances, and launching several collaborative paths to address the issues of irregular migration. To this path, we announced the launch of the African Development Fund, which will be managed jointly by representatives from our continents and will be funded through financial contribution from European and African partners, and any other donor entities, based on comprehensive scientific estimates issued by specialized technical committees from both sides to serve vital sectors that will encourage migrants to stay in their countries of origin. Development in the educational sector will work through good strategic planning to provide the necessary infrastructure to enhance the efficiency of the education sector, especially technical and vocational training, focusing on improving the efficiency of teachers, providing scholarship and schedules for the benefit of African and European students. Development in that sector will strive diligently to provide and equip the necessary healthcare institutions with modern medical equipment and supplies, as well as medicines for all diseases and epidemics. This fund will also work on preparing and qualifying African medical personnel by facilitating the enrollment of African youth in European universities and participating in training programs and scientific conferences to enhance the efficiency of this personnel in line with the principle of local localization. Development in infrastructure, the African Development Fund, through good planning, will work on enhancing the efficiency of infrastructure in African cities and villages by establishing and repairing road networks, sanitation, electricity, water, and internet networks. Development in agriculture, this will be achieved by supporting agricultural projects with the necessary equipment and tools to achieve food sufficiency for the African continent and ensure food supply chains. Through this path, we also aim to combat desertification and drought threatening the African continent within the framework of climate change, the increasing rates of poverty in Africa, and consequently the increase of irregular migration flows northwards to Europe. Support for local governments, units, and increasing their capacity to perform various local electricity service, exemption of African countries from or alleviating the burden of debts that weigh them down and limit their capacity development operations, and assisting them in alleviating the strict constraints imposed by international financial institutions to benefit from the relevant services to development in African countries. Through this path, we declare a package of measures of actions, investment in energy sector, traditional and green, which ensures the increase and stability of energy supplies to African cities and villages and constitutes the decisive factor for the success of all of these paths, in addition to its profitability. The African Development Fund will also work through this energy path to enhance the qualification of African technical personnel in the sector, investment in transportation communication sector. This path also includes all aspects of investment-related transportation and communication networks, ports, and airports. Investment in digital infrastructure to contribute to bridging the geographical digital divide and gaining digital trust. Investment in the back-end sector to increase its efficiency and training and qualification of the human resources working in it. Increasing job opportunities, employment for African citizens and youth through injecting more European investment into African economies and into various sectors according to good governance mechanisms and anti-corruption efforts. Investing in African continental financial institutions to accelerate economic and social integration and development between the continents. Investing in free trade zones to Africa that African countries intend to establish to be significant lever for their economies. Investing in manufacturing many sectors and agreeing on a new mechanism to review investment contracts in African resources in general. The political path, this path includes reforming the legal migration system in European receiving countries to achieve a balanced situation that allows for mutual migration and mobility while also persevering the security and safety of receiving and transit countries. Respecting the rights of African countries to determine their destiny through elected legitimities and institutions resulting from them and refraining from interfering in internal affairs, removing migration systems and migrants from the circle of domestic political employment and investment in receiving countries and confronting hate speech and extremism. Security and stability path. This path aims to enhance security and stability in African countries, enhance their military and security capabilities in combating terrorism, human trafficking networks, arms, drug smuggling, law enforcement, conflict prevention, and civil wars, as these security phenomena are among the main causes of irregular migration. To achieve this goal of this path, European partners will provide assistance to African countries in the form of a package of measures and actions, including the following: assisting in enhancing the capabilities of military and security institutions by providing them with the necessary logistical means to enable them to enforce the law and confront terrorist organizations, organized crime, including human traffic networks, armed and drug smuggling, and security borders. Enhancing the efficiency of capabilities of members of military and security institutions by creating a mechanism for mutual cooperation, exchanging information and data to combat human traffic networks, addressing cyber and electronic exploitation that undermines African-European cooperation effort in this field. Providing awareness, raising education programs on various topics related to military and security institutions, as well as human rights awareness. In conclusion, we announced the importance of establishing the Euro-African Employment Agency as a framework for cooperation and attracting labour based in Brussels. We also announced the agreement to establish the Afro-European Migration Observatory, partner in Benghazi, with the task of accompanying civil society organizations in Africa and Europe in cooperation topics and migration-oriented programs.